Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 21st episode of Late Night Gaming. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about the X-Men: Days of Future Past. I just went and saw that, and it was fantastic. And then we're going to talk a little bit about what I want to see at E3 and what should be at E3, what announcements should be there at E3. I really am excited for this E3 because I think there's going to be a lot of really cool announcements, a lot of really cool things coming out of it. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and good thing I caught us. So the last thing that I'm going to kind of mention is kind of why I've been frazzled lately and why the show quality hasn't been as good. So with that being said, let's go ahead and we're going to talk about Days of Future Past. It was not shockingly amazing. I anticipated this movie to be an extremely good movie with extremely good plot developments. Nothing was really missing, and I didn't really feel like I don't know how to say, I don't feel like I was being taken away from anything, and I don't feel that anything else was coming through. So I am doing a new thing, and if you look right here, I'm trying to get a little bit more of a professional feel to this, so please let me know how you like the little pictures here. So I will put that up there while I talk about what it is I'm talking about, so if you join late, you'll know. So what I really liked about this was that at first the opening was kind of confusing. I looked at it and I didn't really know which X-Men this was, what was really going on. I had tried to read nothing about this movie. I wanted to go into this movie knowing zero. And I was successful in doing so, and I really thought that by doing that, I gave myself the most opportunity to enjoy this particular film as it was meant to be. I have seen every X-Men all the way up until this one, and I am very familiar with the background story. I used to get up very early in the morning on Saturday when I was a kid just so I could go and see this movie. And I can't say a bad thing about it. There is one thing that I'm kind of bummed out about, and there's a couple of cameos in there. And in the picture that I chose for you guys, the cameos are Rogue and I think, who was the other one? I can't remember Rogue. Jean makes a cameo, and Scott makes a cameo. And you'll find out why if you watch the movie. I don't want to spoil anything. I don't want to give too much away. If you know how this movie ends, you know how this movie's going to roll and how it's going to go, then by all means, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Please don't spoil it for anybody. If you do leave a comment below and it is a spoiler of some sort, I will delete the comment. I don't want to take away from anybody's experience in this movie. This movie is fantastic. I was pretty much captivated the entire time. I've always had a soft spot in my heart for Bishop, even though he gets very little love. He gets a ton of love in this movie. I feel that his part in this movie could have been a little bit more explained, but I'm glad that they showed how he works. Because if you're not familiar with Bishop, Bishop is an energy-driven mutant that he's taken his powers and chained him into a pistol of some sort, very large pistol, if you will, more like a shotgun. And he actually gets a couple of huge parts in this, and it's just great to see a couple of other mutants than we're used to come out and kind of get into the mix a little bit more. I mean, even with movies like, what was the last one? I can't remember it, but Final Stand, or Last Stand, sorry. You saw a ton of different mutants, and none of them had a really big part in it, and it was kind of disappointing to see that many mutants but not really portray a lot of their powers. And in this movie, you really feel that you get to see a lot of people's powers. Even Storm plays a huge part in this with her powers and being able to kind of show what she's really capable of. So I really appreciated they actually gave Storm the rightful backing for what she deserved, because I felt like they just never gave her a shot to really shine and show her true abilities and what she can really do. A lot of people are like, well, yeah, it's Storm. She can control the weather. That's, it's cool. But nobody really looks at it and goes, she's a super powerful mutant that can really do some damage to some people. I really enjoyed the contrast between old and new. They really did a stand-up job with keeping historical facts. For instance, one of the things, me being an ex-military person myself, I was in the Air Force for many, many years. I know pretty much a lot about the Air Force history because you kind of have to. They ingrain that into you going through all of your training. One of the things that I picked up is back in the 70s, where this film majorly takes place. Back in the 70s, you have what's called a staff sergeant, a buck sergeant, and a tech sergeant. And they got the insignias right, which I thought was great. And I thought that attention to detail really, really gave some heavy I don't know, like fanboyism for me. I mean, when a movie pays that much attention to detail, I tend to watch it with a little bit more interest in the minute details. Like, for instance, I forgot her name. Blink. Her tattoos, her markings are perfect. I didn't really care for Storm's hair, but that's another story for another day. But I think that it's just, all in all, this movie, how do I put this? Captain America is a fantastic movie. And I think it's I can't say one's better than the other. I just can't do it. If I had $20 and I said go see one movie, I would tell you to flip a coin and pick one. You're not going to be disappointed by either movie, Captain America's Winter Soldier or X-Men's Days of Future Past. Both of these movies were fantastic. They really portrayed a lot of character development, a lot of mutant power. When you're kind of playing around with Captain America, you really get to see what he's made of, what kind of quirkiness you're playing with, and I really like that homage to that older style comedy, and he plays off the fact that he is definitely from the past. With X-Men, you get to see a lot more vulnerability from the big shots, Magneto and Xavier. You get to see them really come together, and you see how the jesting between the two of them from start to finish, movie to movie, game to game, you get to really, really see what that really means and how that really portrays towards each other, because there is a lot of history there, and you get to see where the feud really began between the two. So if you got the extra time on your hands and you want to see a great film and you like X-Men, I highly, highly recommend this one. I cannot tell you not to go see this, because I think if you don't see this movie, you're missing out, and you're not doing yourself justice if you're a big comic book fan. So, or even just an X-Men fan, if you just like the movies, if you just like the idea of mutants and things like that, definitely take the time out and see this movie. If you're gonna go see it by yourself, go see it by yourself. I will say though, with Raven, or Mystique, if you will, with Jennifer Lawrence being her, I didn't feel like I was watching Hunger Games. She really took the role and ran with it. Really played a very, very good Mystique. And I can't be mad at her for taking this role and really just going with it, because I kind of felt like when I saw her in First Class, and I was watching that just not even 2 days ago, I kind of didn't like her as Mystique, but in this one, she really, took a hold of the role and was really drove this really, really far forward, and I loved it. So, with that being said, I think that is That if you're gonna go see a movie, definitely go see this one. It's worth every penny, and it's worth every minute. It's about a 2 hour long flick, so it's definitely worth it. With that being said, if you leave a comment in the sections below or want to ask a question, feel free to go ahead and do that. I do have the Q&A open. If it is not currently a part of what I'm talking about, I will wait until the end, but I do answer all of your questions. I do read all of your emails, and I do read all of your comments. So we will get to that here in just a few. The next thing up on the on topics to talk about is, you see it, E3. It's coming. It's going to be here soon. Everyone's, all over the place. Everyone's saying, "Hey, this is what it needs. This is what needs to come out. This is what I'm hoping to see. You got to see this and this, this, and this, and this." So, one of the things that I really, really, really want to see come out of E3 is, honestly, I want to see. I want to see some Nintendo. I want to see Nintendo show up in full effect. They launched their last console about 2 years ago, and they really haven't come out with really big anything, really. And that's typical fashion of Nintendo. They usually release their hardware, and then within the next year to about a year and a half is when they start to release all of their heavy content. And I really hope that Nintendo comes out in this E3 and goes, "Hey, this is the next thing you guys have been waiting for. This is what it is. Let's give it to you." For me, I'm really looking forward to two things. One's actually coming out soon, but I think the follow-up to this is going to be even more, is if they release a new Metroid. It's been about 4 years since the last big Metroid release, so I'm really hoping that they release a Metroid or talk about releasing a Metroid. I haven't really looked into any talks of a new one lately. I do know that IGN was talking with the director, and there is some hints there that there might not ever be a new one. Well, at least not by this producer-director of Metroid. So I'm really hoping that either he steps down and somebody else picks it up and kind of carries the legacy of Metroid on. But this is the year for Nintendo. Nintendo's got to really come out and go, "Hey guys, these are all the games that we never release. These are all the games that you need to get your hands on and get going with." And so I really hope Metroid's one of them. I know Mario Kart 8's really big for me, at least, because I'm really excited to see Mario Kart 8. I've always loved Mario Kart. It's always been a great couch co-op type game where you get your friends together. You might, get a few beers, or you might just get a bunch of soda and snacks and just hang out for a couple hours a night and play some Mario Kart. And that's always been one of the things that I've always loved to do, is get together with a bunch of people and hang out, play some games, whether it's WildStar Online, ESO, or whatever, is just getting together and playing games. So that's for me. Those are the two big things that I think need to happen at E3, especially for Nintendo. Nintendo really needs to come out and go, "Here's all the games you guys are missing," and I'm like I said, I'm just hoping Metroid is one of them. I'm not sure how I feel about maybe some more Pokemon love. Typically, Pokemon's always been in a handheld. They did break out in the GameCube and the 64 with Pokemon Adventure, or what was it, Safari Adventure, where you could take pictures, or Pokemon Snap, I believe, was one of them, but I'm not sure. It's been a long time. I still haven't even beaten my copy of Pokemon Y. The only reason why, don't hate on me yet, the only reason why is my dogs chewed up my charger. So leave in the comments below if your dog's ever chewed your charger, or any sort of Nintendo thing or gaming thing. I guess I'd like to hear about that, because I'll tell you what, I was livid. I had two things. A little side note here, not talking about E3, but I had two things that my dogs chewed up that I really loved. One of them was my Astro gaming headset, hence the fact that I have these Soul Republics. And the other thing was my charger for my Nintendo 3DS, which I was really, I was really upset about. I think I was more upset about the charger than I was the headphones. Because I was in the middle of playing Pokemon Y and I couldn't beat it because my dogs ate the charger. But I digress. Back to E3 and what I think needs to be said at E3 or what needs to be brought up. Some people are calling for a new console by Nintendo, and I don't see that they have the need for a new console. Maybe a new handheld to kind of play with the idea that PlayStation's releasing the Vita and they're really pushing that Vita really hard. In my mind, there's only ever really been two consoles or two handhelds to me, and that's always been the Game Boy, and unfortunately the only other one that I really cared about was the Sega one, and I don't remember what theirs was called, but it was their handheld Genesis model, and those were the only two that were ever there for me. There were ever ones in the market, so I'm really hoping that the Vita gets some big love. I know they've got some pretty good games coming out for it, but the pay or I'm sorry the pairing between the Xbox or I'm sorry again the Xbox. Anyways, the pairing between the PlayStation 4 and the Vita and being able to play those games, well, really whenever you want, as long as you have a connection. I am not 100% certain on those. I know they've been kind of bouncing back on how those are going to work, and I don't know if they have a full lineup of what games are going to do what and how they're going to interact. But I'm really hoping that the Vita gets some more love there. I really, really think that they should kind of push that a little bit more. I really hope that they announce Mewtwo is going to be in Smash Bros. Anybody else? No? Nothing? No takers? All right. For me, one of the biggest things that I really hope is that Xbox actually announces some more stuff for well, I know that they've already taken the Kinect, and we have ranted and raved on this show about why in the world would you ever put the Kinect into a bundle, charge $100 more than your competition. Oh, and then on top of all of that, make me have a subscription so that I use internet-based services that are genuinely free, YouTube, things like that, and make me have a subscription just to get on the web. That I didn't understand, and that I'll never understand. But I really hope Xbox redeems themselves and kind of throws out some more stuff out there, and Microsoft kind of throws out some more stuff out there and goes, hey, we kind of jacked up, so let's give you that gold membership stuff. So if you're a gold member, you'll get some of the games that are like $14, $15 a month for free. They should probably eat a little bit of that cost for those members of us who did buy the $600 Xbox with the Kinect, and I think that if they do something like that, they might actually redeem them from the debauchery of a launch that they had in the months leading up to it. I think that would be a great thing for them to do, and I think that would kind of actually push their sales a little bit more. Now that they have a console that does not have the Kinect involved with it, I think that by having those two together, you could actually create a fan base again. You could actually get people liking your product again and actually talking about you in a positive light. It's unfortunate that myself and a bunch of other people that I know that own Xboxes are kind of on the fence about how they want, how the Xbox is faring with them. I know I personally myself have kind of gone back and forth with Xboxes before. I was at the very beginning. I almost swore it off. I was like, I'm just going to go get a PlayStation because why wouldn't I? I'm being charged to go on Xbox Live. I'm being charged to go onto YouTube. I'm being charged extra to go watch movies on Netflix when I already have a subscription. Well, why don't I just go? Well, for me, it was there's a lot of games that are coming out very shortly for the Xbox that aren't really coming out for PlayStation 4. So for me, it was the IPs are there right now. PlayStation has a lot of games. PlayStation will always have a lot of games, but not all of them are necessarily ones that I can get my hands on right away, or something that I really find interesting that I need to play to kind of review for the show. And I think that if Xbox redeems themselves and does what PlayStation did at the very beginning and announces it at E3, that's really going to push them back into a positive light. And so hopefully, we see some of that. Some of the other stuff that I really, 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 really hoping for at the at E3 is maybe some more Mass Effect. I know a lot of people out there who love Mass Effect games, and it's been a while since we've heard really anything great with the Mass Effect franchise, and so I'm really hoping, that they say, hey, we're going to do a fourth, and, that's just like the cherry on top. Although it could go very wrong. And my case in point would be maybe the end of, I think, what was it, the last one, where the community is actually coming out with content to make it better. They really were just unpleased. They're like, you know what, we don't like this, so let's make our own ending, like what we think should have happened. And I think, and a lot of, actually, I don't remember exactly how it happened, but they did change the ending of that Mass Effect. I really hope that this E3 just kind of blows us all away. I mean, we've got the technology in place. We've got next gen consoles. We've got Xbox making some big moves with their latest update. Xbox's latest update was fantastic. They are releasing the grip, the hold, the stranglehold that they had on us as gold members. I mean, it's hard enough that I can't even play Titanfall without having a subscription to Xbox Live. That bugs me, and that will continue to bug me until the end of time. I don't know how else I can really say that. It just bugs the living daylights out of me that I have to pay to play a video game. I voluntarily play for MMOs. I understand why I'm paying for those, because that content, for the most part, without it being an expansion, giving me maybe a new race or a new playable, they usually give me a lot of content for free, and I get to play with all my friends all the time. So I understand that. What I don't necessarily like is I want to jump on my Xbox after the show and maybe stream some Titanfall. Well, I can't even play Titanfall as a standalone first person, because there is no first person. It's all based off of multiplayer. And because of that, I can't actually play the game without having a Xbox Gold membership. That bugs me. And I think PlayStation's going that way too. I've heard the rumors. I really didn't look too terribly deep into it because, and that's going to lead it into my next segment here. And I really hope that they fix those ideas and they really give back to the community that they've kind of taken a lot from. So that leads me into the last thing on the show here. Why am I, your faithful host, Kevin Unfits Guskowski, also known as the Bearded One? Why am I so frazzled over the last couple weeks? Well, as y'all know, June 13th through the 15th is going to be Denver Comic-Con. And, man, am I kind of just beating myself up over Denver Comic-Con. It's my first convention ever. Not to mention my first convention as a podcast, as a media, as a journalist, as a photographer. I do plan on going, taking some pretty good pictures. I have some friends who might loan me a camera, just because I can't afford to buy a digital SLR. I have a lot of photography friends, so I might be getting some cameras from them to kind of make this the best experience that I can make for you guys out there who may or may not go to conventions or may have no interest in ever going to a convention but want to see what fun stuff comes out of them. This is Denver's Comic-Con. I think this is the third year running, and it's exploded. For those of you who are from the Colorado area and live in this area, this is kind of the place to be if you're going to do something like this. If you're going to do something like podcasting, there's a lot of nerds here in the area. A lot of reasons I think is because there's a lot of military. With a lot of military, you generally get one of two crowds here in this area. You get the really nerdy types that hang out with the same exact people all the time. They all talk about the same exact thing, and then you get the guys who go out and drink every day. I was the latter for a little while, and then I turned around and said, you know what, I hate feeling like that every morning, so I went and started playing Magic the Gathering, getting back into my roots, where I grew up on things like X-Men Saturday morning cartoons. I grew up on playing Pac-Man with my dad, and I grew up on just all this fun stuff. So that's kind of why I've been really where I've been. Last week's show, for lack of a better word, was horrible. And I really want to apologize to anybody who watched episode 20. That was not what I want to give to you guys. It wasn't a great show. It wasn't something that I was too happy with after I was finished. So if you do go back and watch 19, or you're going to want to catch up with a lot of things that are going on, do me a favor and just ignore that one, because it's just not my favorite. I leave it up because I am a stickler for detail, I guess, a little bit. I should be more of a stickler for detail, but I really just kind of let that last episode go. So this episode, I hope I redeemed myself. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I bring all of this up because I'm literally going to be at Denver Comic Con in about 2-3 weeks. Let's see, yeah, 3 weeks. So I have next week, and then I have the following week-ish until the 12th, and then Friday night we're going up to get situated in the hotel room, and then it's just going to be a nutso weekend of lots of fun, lots of cosplayers. My media passes will get me access to just about everything. So with that being said, I really want to kind of give you guys an idea of what's going to be there, what's going to happen. I personally am going to be all over this gaming focal point. So Denver Comic Con is doing something that I really like, and they are going to be focusing on some gaming. There's going to be some panels that are going to be there, but they're not limited to just these. The first couple of panels that I get emails directly from the directors. So all of this information is directly, no word of mouth, directly from the people who are going to put this together. So, panels that they've told me about so far are going to be getting into the game industry, indie game development, facts and fiction, building a video game in Unity 3D. For those of you who don't know, Unity 3D is a tool set that you can use to literally build a game almost from scratch. Kickstarting a game, and I assume that one's going to probably be more along the lines of how to find funding, how to sell yourself, maybe, things like that. That's actually something I may actually want to attend just because of this here. This is, some of you guys may have caught this before, but I've gone on rants for about 5 minutes about how this is my beginning of the week is the best part of my week. I look forward to this. I try and do as much as I can to make the show as best as I can. As you guys have noticed, I started putting up those little pictures on the top corners just so you guys know what I'm talking about if you join in late. I just try and make it so that this gets better and better. And tomorrow night, I am going to most likely be doing a duo show of WildStar online. It's going to be our second show of the late night gaming bubble, I guess. I don't really know what to say that, but I digress. Obviously, I digress. I have a great idea for an app. Now what? That's another one of the panels that are going to be there for the gaming industry. And then the last one that they tell me about is, I want to make games. Is school right for me? I can tell you right now, probably not. There is no school out there that really has a curriculum that's going to get you hired at a game development company. For instance, Full Sail University is one of the big ones that tout and throw out there, come and make video games with us, and we'll teach you everything you need to know. Yeah, that's fine that you'll teach me everything I need to know, but if I'm not good at it, I'm not good at it. If I'm not an artist, then I need to find somebody who's an artist. If I'm really good at model creation, then I need to find somebody who's really good at animation. I think that somebody who's good at all of it will end up murdering themselves by working so hard that their eyes will bleed within 3 weeks of trying something. I just don't think that one person can create a worthwhile game. I think that multiple people need to be involved in making a game. So I really hope that sheds some light for me. Like I said, I'm going to be at most, if not all, of the gaming stuff that I can. Now, mind you, this is, again, my first con, so there's going to be some stuff that I miss. I hope that I don't miss anything that you guys would really benefit from. So if you guys want to leave some questions down below, the things that you want to know that I can learn for you at the Denver Comic Con, and I will come back and hopefully that weekend you're going to see a lot of activity from me, because that's all I'm doing all weekend is I'm going to be at the con. I'm going to be loading up interviews, maybe just audio. You may only see these interviews on the website, so it's very important that you pay attention to latenightgaming.net. You may see a lot of tweeting, and you may see a lot of Facebook information, so follow those so you can get up-to-date content on what's going on. So just to kind of give you an idea, I do have a PDF here of who's supposed to be there as far as developers. So give me just a second here while I pull it up for you folks. But while I'm pulling this up, please, guys, if you have any questions, please, by all means, please use the Q&A section here, and I will answer them as best as I can for you all. So with that being said, let me see if I can find the... There we go. List of confirmed developers as of right now. This obviously is going to grow, but it's going to be RCN Games, Boulder Games, Glass Bottom Games, War Balloon Games, Serenity Forge, Galactic Bits, Dream Quest Games, Wormbite, and that's spelled WYRMBYTE, Radio Games, Ludoland, Beta, Dwarf Entertainment, Idle Minds, That Dragon, Cancer, Red Level Games, Quarter Heart Studio, Leviathan Games, Toymakers, Colorado Game Coders. These are all game developers that are confirmed as of right now, and I'm really hoping to kind of sit down with some of these guys, pick their brains on, hey, what do you got coming up? Anything I can get my hands on, anything I can play for you guys. Can I talk about this on my show? I'm hoping to bring, maybe talk to some of these guys, get some information, maybe get some snippets to kind of play on the show. And obviously, if I get my hands on any games from any of these developers, if I get any codes or anything like that, obviously pay attention to the website, pay attention to Twitter, Facebook, because they're going to be there. If there's stuff I can give away, I'm going to give it away. The more people that are on the podcast, the better, because I won't do giveaways for less than 15 people. I just don't think that that's a fair thing for people to do, because most of you out there probably would love to have something, and I want to be fair about it. So anyway, the more people, the more giveaways, the faster they come. And as always, if you guys would love to, provide a way for me to get better stuff and get some stuff to give out to you guys, I have a donate button, likes on Facebook, on Twitter, on iTunes, on Stitcher. I'm on all of those. All that stuff's going to help me give you guys more. And like I said, this is going to be what's going to happen at Denver Comic Con. Is all these devs. I really, really am hoping to get these people out there. So one of the other things that I just got an email about is I'm getting my list of entertainers together. And what I mean by that is I got the email today from the directors over at Denver Comic Con giving me the guidelines on how interviews are going to work, how I'm going to get these guests as well, and what order I need to rank them in. So what I'm going to be doing over the next couple of days, about 1, maybe 2, 3 days. So this airs currently. Today is Memorial Day, May 26, 2014. What I would like for you guys to do, and again, this is all for you guys. This is, your stuff. This is content that I want to create for you. So what I would like for you guys to do in the comments below, or Facebook or Twitter, at Unfit Games, if you see in the lower third right here, just underneath my name, is my Twitter handle. Facebook.com/LNGcast. All of these things here are ways for you to communicate with me. And I want to know, if you guys go to denvercomiccon.com, you'll see a list of all of the guests. Who do you guys out there want me or Christelle, my girlfriend, and I'm hoping I have a third, because I do have 3 media passes. I am in the process of kind of helping out with a guy, and I think he's mostly going to be into the gaming side of things. He wants to be a gamer, and so that when I showed him that, he was all about it. The only thing is, I told him he has to do some work for the website. So if he does decide to join and he does decide to come, he's going to be mostly doing that. So that frees me up quite a bit to be doing some more of the nerdy, culture-y things that we can do. For instance, the TNG reunion actually is going to be happening at Denver Comic Con. So William Shatner will be there. Like I said this last time. If you've caught any of the other episodes, William Shatner is kind of a prick. And I know this because I've known people who have met him. He treats the people at cons like they're dirt, and he's kind of a dickhead. So one of the things is, don't meet your idols, and I'm kind of putting myself between a rock and a hard spot right here. So with that being said, LeVar Burton, Michael Dorn, Gates McFadden, Mariana Sirtis, I think is her name. I don't remember how to pronounce her name, but she plays Counselor Troy. The person who plays Tasha Yar is going to be there. So these are all the only people that's not going to be there. The only people that are not going to be there are going to be Jean-Luc Picard, or Patrick Stewart, and Will Wheaton. I think they're both doing. I think they're both involved in projects right now, so they're not going to be a part of the reunion. But I'm really excited to meet LeVar Burton, because I grew up with him in 2 ways, actually. My dad introduced me very, very early into the Next Generation, and a lot of the stuff that we have today, we can thank due to things like science fiction, because of the fact that things like their recorder or their badges, those are pretty much cell phones. Anyway, I just really think that it's going to be really awesome. I think it's going to be really good stuff, and I'm really excited to see LeVar Burton, because he also did Reading Rainbow. I don't know if you guys know that. It was a PBS broadcast. It was a way for people to get involved with new reading material, and I thought that was really cool, and I really watched a lot of that because it was part of Saturday morning cartoons. So anyway, those are the people that are going to be there. I did get the list, or I did get all of the things that I need to start emailing back the request for interviews for people like, Adam West and Bruce Campbell. People like that are probably going to be really, really, really hard for me to interview, just because my relationship with DCC and my relationship with a lot of the other people that are going to be involved are brand new. I'm new to this, and there are some people who've been to every Denver Comic Con since the inception of Denver Comic Con. So I may or may not be able to interview some of the bigger name guests, just because I'm the low guy in the totem pole. I got to work my way up, and I fully intend to do so. So like I said, guys, leave in the comments below. Go to facebook.com/LNGcast. You will see that's the website, that's the Facebook for the cast here, as well as latenightgaming.net. You'll see that there. If you happen to swing by latenightgaming.net, feel free to click on that donate button. Every amount helps. I think the minimum is 50 cents. So, unfortunately, you can't donate a couple of pennies. But every amount helps. It helps me pay for my trip up there. It helps me pay for my hotel room. It helps me pay for food, as well as some swag to hand out. Like I said, you help me, I help you. I get you fun stuff that nobody else has. And it's true because listen to this one. If you're not in Denver and there are Denver Comic Con shirts, you're not gonna get one. So your friends are gonna be like, "Well, where'd you get that from?" Well, I won it from Unfits over at Late Night Gaming because he's awesome, you know, stuff like that. So feel free to comment them below. Feel free to ask questions during the show. I always have my Q&A open. And there's one last thing, kind of like a little breadcrumb here. I have been following with some interest a well-known game known as EverQuest. EverQuest is a game that really got me involved in things that are called MMOs. Now, if you're not familiar with MMOs, that's multi-massive online role-playing games. So they're actually called MMORPGs. Things like WildStar, which is another announcement that I'm going to make here in just a second. But I actually got accepted into the the Landmark Beta? Yeah, the Landmark Beta. I'm not sure how much I can talk about it, but I will tell you this so far. The graphics in the game are, for a game that's going to go directly free to play. For a game that's going to go directly free to play. Now, I want to kind of pound that in here. The game is going directly free to play. Already, I can look at it and go, wow, it looks good. The game really, really looks good. And I mean, I really like the fact that they're using voxels. And if you're not familiar with what a voxel is, it's kind of like a 3D pixel. I'm not really 100% sure how to explain that. And I really wish I could explain it a little bit better, but I kind of can't. So it's like a 3D pixel, and what Landmark is it's a game where it's a lot like it's like a Minecraft game. You're building, you go out, you strike a plot, and you're building these. How do you say it? You're building these like houses or literally, I guess, whatever you want. I'm not very far into the game. I did get the beta last night. I stayed up from 12 till about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock playing it. And I did want to talk about it a little bit because like I said, I'm not sure how much I can actually talk about this. So I'm really hoping I don't get a cease and desist from Sony Entertainment or EverQuest next people. So I don't want to give away too much. I don't want to talk about too much because I don't want to hurt any NDAs that I may have agreed to and didn't read. I don't think anyone's actually read a full NDA except for the lawyers. But for the most part, I like the graphics. I like the idea behind it. It's a very Minecrafty type game. You go out, you mine stuff, you make better tools to mine better stuff to get better things to make better environments and castles and stuff like that. I'm gonna throw up a couple of images here, so bear with me. Oh, okay. Let me show you this image here, because this image here is kind of what a voxel will help you do. So voxels, like I said, are like 3D images, and they really help you. They really help the game in a way that is almost unreal, to say the least. So I'm going to put this right over my face here so you guys can see this. So the picture on your right is actually, these are the voxels on the right here. So if you can see right here, this one's a non-voxel. And then over here is a voxel sphere. That's what a voxel is doing. It's giving you a much more smoother landscape so that you can actually create these really cool images and these really cool like castles and homes and stuff like that. It's a fully customizable it's a fully customizable thing. So I think it's really cool. I think it's gonna be a really good kind of precursor into the game, because I think that I'm gonna actually throw this up over here to the right so that you guys can kind of see some of the other pictures here as I make them bigger. So I think it's kind of a cool game. Like some of these pictures here. Let me see if I can pull that up for you guys. So this is someone playing it here. I think they're actually an EverQuest member. But if you guys see right here, this is kind of some of the stuff that you can create. And this is all created right here based on that game. So I got accepted into the beta. The beta actually, they do it two different ways. They do it either like 7 days, or you just get an open access ticket. I got 10 days of open beta, or I'm sorry, closed beta access here. So I'm really hoping that I get to see a little bit more of it before it goes away on me. EverQuest Next is a game that I'm pretty interested in. EverQuest 2 has been something that I've played for a little while. I don't play it currently anymore just because I'm diving deep into other games. I'm reading more comic books for you guys. You'll have to excuse me. This week I don't have a dollar debut, and that is my apology to you guys here. So please, like I said, feel free to leave comments below. If you want to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Twitter's @unfitgames, right on my lower third there. Also, if you want to follow me on Facebook, it's Late Night Gaming. I'm sorry, Facebook is facebook.com/LNGcast, and latenightgaming.net is the website. And then also, if you follow me, just plus Late Night Gaming Net or plus Unfit Game, or plus Kevin, actually. Kevin Unfit Games is my Google Plus handles. So that's it for me tonight, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed this week's show. Thanks for stopping by. And like I said, if you guys want to be more involved with who I interview over Denver Comic Con, feel free to head over to denvercomiccon.com. I will hopefully leave in the show notes the link to the website. And thanks, guys, for stopping by and listening and hanging out with me. Like I said, go ahead and see X-Men: Days of Future Past. It is worth every cent. And I also think that if you guys want to, even if you guys even want to give me some questions to ask, I'm down for it. So enjoy your night, and don't stay up too late. It is work tomorrow, so enjoy. Bye-bye.